He wanted her to abandon their newborn, but she refused, so he left. Years later, they meet again at their son's school. Dear viewers, welcome to our channel. Subscribe to receive more stories every day. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the ceiling fan. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed, cradling her newborn son Liam, as tears streamed down her cheeks. Across from her stood Adam, his suitcase packed and his face cold with indifference. "I've made up my mind, Sarah," he said, his tone devoid of emotion. "I can't do this. I won't let my life be destroyed because you refuse to listen to reason." Sarah clutched Liam tighter, her protective instincts overpowering her despair. "He's your son, Adam. How can you even think of abandoning him?" "He's not my future," Adam shot back. "You've chained yourself to this burden. But I have ambitions, dreams. You're the one holding us back." Sarah's voice cracked. "There is no us if you walk out that door." Adam hesitated for a brief moment, his hand on the doorknob. "You'll see one day, Sarah. I'm doing what's best for me. I can't let you or this child ruin that." And with that he left. The days that followed were a blur of exhaustion and heartbreak. Sarah had no one to turn to. Her parents had passed years ago, and her friends, once plentiful, had faded into the background during her tumultuous relationship with Adam. She was alone, just her and Liam. Bills piled up on the kitchen counter. The fridge grew emptier by the day. Sarah took on whatever work she could find, from cleaning houses to babysitting, all while carrying Liam in a sling strapped to her chest. Her determination to provide for her son became her only source of strength. But the nights were the hardest. As Liam cried through his colic, Sarah sat in the dim glow of a bedside lamp, whispering to him through her tears, "We'll make it, baby. Promise. I won't let you down." Years passed in a blur of relentless hustle. Sarah found a job at a local non-profit, helping underprivileged children. The pay was meager, but it gave her a sense of purpose and the flexibility to be there for Liam. As he grew, so did her pride. Liam was an inquisitive, kind-hearted boy with an insatiable curiosity for books and a knack for solving puzzles. Every smile he gave her was a reminder that her sacrifices had been worth it. When Liam was 10, Sarah received a letter from the prestigious Woodridge Academy, a school known for producing some of the brightest minds in the country. It was an invitation for Liam to take their entrance exam, part of a scholarship program for gifted children. Sarah was shocked. How had they even heard of Liam? At the testing center, Sarah felt a pang of nervousness as she watched Liam disappear into the exam room. She couldn't help but notice the other parents, dressed in designer suits and polished shoes, glancing at her threadbare coat and scuffed shoes with barely concealed judgment. But when Liam emerged, his face glowing with pride, Sarah knew he had done well. A week later, the acceptance letter arrived, confirming Liam had been awarded a full scholarship. It was a moment of triumph, a validation of all their struggles. Orientation day at Woodridge Academy was a whirlwind of activity. Sarah and Liam walked through the marble-floored halls, surrounded by students and parents who exuded wealth and privilege. Sarah tried to focus on Liam's excitement, but she couldn't shake the feeling of being out of place. Then she saw him. Adam stood at the podium in the school's grand auditorium, his face as confident as ever. He was introduced as the school's benefactor, a successful entrepreneur who had contributed generously to the scholarship program. Sarah's heart sank. She hadn't seen Adam since the day he left, and now, here he was, basking in the spotlight. As the speech ended and the crowd dispersed, Adam scanned the room, his gaze landing on Sarah. His eyes widened in shock, and for a brief moment their eyes locked. Then his gaze shifted to Liam, who was chatting animatedly with another student. Adam's expression darkened as he put the pieces together. Adam approached hesitantly as Sarah stood frozen. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "Sarah, is he?" "Yes," Sarah replied, her tone firm. "He's your son." Adam's face was a mix of shock and something Sarah couldn't quite place. Guilt, perhaps. Regret. But before he could say anything more, Liam turned toward them, his face alight with curiosity. "Mom, who's this?" he asked innocently. Sarah drew a deep breath, her resolve hardening. "Just someone from my past, Liam. Let's go." As they walked away, Sarah felt Adam's eyes on them, but she didn't look back. Her focus was on Liam, and she wasn't about to let Adam disrupt the life they had built. But as she left the auditorium, she couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end. Adam stood rooted to the spot, watching them leave. For the first time in years, he felt the weight of his decisions pressing on his chest like a boulder. He had convinced himself that leaving Sarah and their newborn was the right choice. Necessary even. But seeing Liam now, a boy so vibrant, full of life, and undeniably his, shattered the carefully constructed illusion that he had made the right call. The next few days passed with Adam obsessively thinking about that brief encounter. Every detail of Liam haunted him. The way his eyes sparkled with curiosity, the easy laughter he shared with Sarah, and even the slight resemblance to himself that he could no longer deny. Adam was a man used to controlling situations, yet here he was, helpless and unsure of his next move. He began discreetly asking questions around the school, trying to learn more about Liam without revealing his connection. The answers he received only deepened his regret. Liam was not only gifted academically but was also kind-hearted, always looking out for others. Teachers spoke highly of him, and even the school staff admired his humility. Adam felt like an outsider peering into a life he had forfeited. Sarah, on the other hand, was determined to maintain her distance. Seeing Adam had stirred up memories she had long buried, but she refused to let him disrupt the life she had fought so hard to build for Liam. Her son didn't need to know the truth about Adam, not yet. As far as Liam was concerned, his father was just a man who had made a different choice, and Sarah wasn't about to shatter that illusion. But Adam wasn't content to stay in the shadows. One afternoon, Sarah arrived at the school to pick Liam up, only to find Adam waiting near the parking lot. Her heart sank at the sight of him. His suit was impeccable, his stance confident, but his eyes betrayed him. There was something vulnerable in his gaze, something that made Sarah both wary and furious. "I just want to talk," Adam said, holding up his hands in a gesture of surrender. "We have nothing to talk about," Sarah replied coldly, opening the car door for Liam. "Please," Adam pressed. I need to explain." Sarah laughed bitterly. "Explain what, Adam? That you abandoned us because we didn't fit into your version of success? That you walked out on your son before he even had the chance to know you? There's nothing left to explain." Liam, sensing the tension, glanced between them. "Mom, is everything okay?" Sarah's resolve wavered for a moment, but she quickly masked her emotions. "Everything's fine, sweetheart. Let's go home." Adam stepped back, realizing he couldn't force his way into their lives. But as they drove away, he made a silent vow. He had lost years with Liam, but he wasn't ready to lose more. Somehow, he would find a way to make things right. In the weeks that followed, Adam threw himself into finding ways to reconnect. He began attending school events, always careful to stay in the background, observing from afar. It wasn't long before Liam started noticing the tall man in the suit, who always seemed to be around. One day, as Adam watched from the bleachers during a soccer game, Liam approached him, curiosity written all over his face. "Hi," Liam said, tilting his head. "You've been coming to a lot of our games. Are you a scout or something?" Adam chuckled nervously, caught off guard by Liam's directness. "Not exactly. I'm just someone who admires how hard you play." "You're really good." Liam grinned. "Thanks. My mom says I get it from her. She used to be an athlete too." Adam's heart ached at the mention of Sarah. He wanted so badly to say something to tell Liam the truth, but he held back. "Your mom must be proud." "She is," Liam said proudly. "She always tells me I can do anything if I work hard enough." Adam nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. "He's right. You've got a great mom." The brief conversation left Adam feeling both elated and devastated. Liam was everything he had hoped for in a son, but the chasm between them seemed insurmountable. He knew he couldn't change the past, but he was determined to be part of Liam's future. Meanwhile, Sarah couldn't ignore Adam's increasing presence. It infuriated her that he was trying to worm his way into their lives after all these years. One evening, as she prepared dinner, Liam casually mentioned the man he'd been talking to at his games. "He's really nice, Mom," Liam said. "Kind of quiet, but he always says good things about how I play." "Do you know him?" Sarah froze, the knife in her hand hovering above the cutting board. She took a deep breath before answering. "He's someone I used to know. But I don't want you to get too close to him, okay?" Liam frowned, confused by her tone. "Why not? He seems cool." "Just trust me on this, Liam," Sarah said firmly. "Some people aren't who they seem to be." But Sarah's warning only fueled Liam's curiosity. He started seeking out Adam at games, asking questions about his life. Adam, careful not to overstep, answered honestly while avoiding the truth about their relationship. The bond between them began to grow, much to Sarah's dismay. The tension reached its breaking point during a parent-teacher meeting. As Sarah sat in the classroom, discussing Liam's progress with his teacher, Adam walked in. Their eyes met, and Sarah felt her anger boil over. "What are you doing here?" she hissed as they stepped outside the room. "I'm here for Liam," Adam replied calmly. "I have every right to be." "You lost that right when you walked out on us," Sarah shot back. "You don't get to waltz in now and pretend to care." "I do care," Adam said, his voice breaking. "I made a mistake, Sarah. Terrible mistake. But I want to fix it. Please let me be part of his life." Sarah stared at him, torn between her lingering anger and the faintest flicker of doubt. Could people really change? Could Adam truly be the father Liam deserved? The answer wasn't clear, but one thing was certain. This was far from over. Sarah spent the night tossing and turning, replaying Adam's words in her mind. His plea to be part of Liam's life stirred something deep within her, a mix of doubt and guilt she hadn't anticipated. But every time she thought of the years she had struggled alone, every sleepless night and tear-filled day, her anger surged back. How could he walk in now and expect to mend what he had broken so carelessly? The next morning, Sarah prepared breakfast as Liam sat at the table, scribbling in his notebook. She watched him, the sunlight catching his unruly hair, and felt the familiar wave of love and protectiveness wash over her. Liam was her entire world, and she wouldn't let anyone, even Adam, disrupt the life they had built. "Mom," Liam said, breaking her train of thought, "I've been thinking about that guy from my games. You said you used to know him, right?" Sarah hesitated. "Yes, I did. A long time ago." Liam looked up, his curiosity evident. "Was he someone important to you?" Her chest tightened. How much should she tell him? Was it fair to keep the truth from him? Or would it hurt him even more to know the kind of man Adam had been? "He was someone who made a choice that changed everything for us," she said carefully. "But I made a choice too. To give you the best life I could, no matter what." Liam studied her face for a moment, then nodded. "You're the best, Mom." Her heart swelled, and she leaned down to kiss his forehead. "And you're my everything, Liam." But despite her resolve, Adam's presence loomed larger than ever. Over the next few weeks, he continued to show up. At games, school events, and even during volunteer projects Sarah organized through her nonprofit. He was careful not to push too hard, always keeping his distance, but his persistence was undeniable. And slowly, against her will, Sarah began to notice something different about him. Adam had always been ambitious, but the arrogance that once defined him seemed tempered. He listened more than he spoke, offering genuine compliments and showing interest in the things Liam cared about. He even started volunteering at the school, helping with events and quietly contributing funds for underprivileged students. It wasn't the same Adam she had known, but Sarah wasn't ready to trust him just yet. One evening, after a particularly heated soccer match, Adam approached them in the parking lot. Liam was beaming after scoring the winning goal, and Adam couldn't hide his pride. You were incredible out there, Adam said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. Thanks, Liam replied, grinning. It felt amazing. Sarah stood stiffly, her arms crossed. Is there something you want, Adam? Adam hesitated, then looked directly at her. I'd like to take you both to dinner. No pressure, just a chance to talk. Please. Sarah's first instinct was to refuse, but Liam's hopeful expression stopped her. She sighed. One dinner. That's it. At the restaurant, the atmosphere was tense at first. Liam chattered away, oblivious to the unspoken tension between his parents. But as the evening went on, Adam shared stories about his own struggles over the years, how he had faced failures in business and lost people he cared about. It wasn't an excuse, but it was the first time Sarah saw glimpses of the man he could have been. When Liam stepped away to use the restroom, Adam turned to Sarah. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, he said quietly, but I'm trying to be better. For him. And for you. Sarah's eyes burned with unshed tears. It's not that simple, Adam. You left us when we needed you most. I don't know if I can ever forgive that. Adam nodded, his face etched with regret. I understand, but I'll keep trying. The evening ended with an uneasy truce, and over the next few months, Adam continued to prove himself. He became a constant presence in Liam's life, attending every game, helping with homework, and even joining Sarah's non-profit projects. Slowly, Liam began to see him as more than just a friendly stranger, and Sarah found herself questioning her resolve. Was it possible for Adam to truly change? Everything came to a head during the school's annual parent-student showcase. Liam had been chosen to present a project on family heritage, and the auditorium was packed with students and parents. As Sarah and Adam sat together in the audience, an announcement came over the speakers. Liam Taylor will now present his project. Liam walked onto the stage, holding a large poster board covered in photos and handwritten notes. He smiled nervously before beginning. My project is about family, he said. My mom has always told me that family is about more than just who you're related to. It's about who's there for you no matter what. She's been my everything, and I wouldn't be here without her. Sarah's heart swelled as the audience clapped, but Liam wasn't finished. But recently I've learned something else, he continued, glancing at Adam. Sometimes people can change. They can realize their mistakes and try to make things right. And I think that's what being a family is about too. Giving people a chance to be better. Tears streamed down Sarah's face as Liam stepped off the stage. He walked straight to Adam and hugged him tightly, leaving the room in stunned silence. Adam's expression was a mixture of shock and gratitude as he held his son for the first time. Later, as they left the school, Adam turned to Sarah. Thank you, he said, his voice thick with emotion, for raising him to be the amazing person he is. Sarah nodded, her own emotions threatening to overwhelm her. It's up to you now, Adam. Don't let him down. As they walked to the car, Sarah realized that the future was uncertain, but for the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, the wounds of the past could begin to heal. Dear viewers, thank you for watching. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel to receive more stories every day. Share with us what you think of this story and tell us where you're watching from.